Well, let's get a little bit real for a moment about the whole AI side of things. Because yes, it is a all-encompassing, it's everywhere, everybody's talking about it. But there is so much unknown about it in a lot of people's minds. There is a lot of stories going around about AI is going to take all the jobs and all of these sorts of things. And this is no different to when the motor vehicle was invented, because it's a tool. And yes, it is going to speed up certain processes. It's going to take what took a team of 30 people down to a team of 2. It is going to increase efficiency. But for good businesses, it just means that you can redeploy your team into more human required tasks and delegate out the more, I guess, basic tasks that are going to get picked up by AI. The hardest part to do with this is when you run a small team, is you may not have the capacity inside of your business at the moment to be able to actually allocate or reallocate staff into different places. Initial implementations may end up being more around actually having to let people go as you put in systems, and you do end up replacing people. But if you do it right, it will only be for the short term. It can be a very tricky thing, and it's one of the things I think people get a little concerned about when they go to implement it. It's like, well, I like my team, I like everybody here, I don't want to upset the apple cart too much, so if I implement this thing and Susie loses her job over it, that I don't like that idea, so let's just not do it because I'd like to keep her as part of my team, rather than looking at reskilling, retraining, and bringing her into a different part of the team. These are just things, and there's a heap of issues that play into this. The other side of it is a lot of people don't realize that as much as, like any tool, AI is going to have the ability to do a whole bunch of different things. It's not just a slap it in and it's going to automatically solve things. One of the biggest issues people don't seem to realize is that AI requires context, it requires training, and then tuning. And so training is basically where you start to give it context around your business, what you need it to do. This comes down to picking the right tools. And I'm talking about more the agentic systems where they have ability to do decision making, but they have to know, if you strip it all the way back, let's go right back. AI is very much around the idea of a if then. This is basic computer programming language. And so what you're doing is you're giving it more complex decisions to make, but if this condition exists, then I need you to do this task. Or if this, then go do this. Now, a lot of that base work is done by people building different apps. And so it's like upload a video. It has the context of going, well, if a video is uploaded, then I know it needs to have captions added. I know they might want music added. They might want this. So it'll give you those options. You pick your selection and then it goes and does the production side. Now, what a lot of tools are missing is the ability to integrate into any kind of a central system. Now, the advantage of this is where your more agentic systems come in, where they can start to coordinate and manipulate different tools to do different tasks and become more intelligent in understanding what you need, how you need things done for your specific business. That requires a whole different level of integration and tooling to be able to do that. So if you think of it from the point of view that AI systems, and I'm talking more of these integrated style systems that can actually do meaningful tasks inside of a business, they're a lot like a work experience kid. They have a lot of potential, but they really don't know anything yet. And while they may be able to be grown up into a great tradesperson inside the business, right now they have a hard time knowing where the broom is to sweep the floor. And you're going to need to spend a similar amount of time as you would with training an employee to train an AI system. Here's the catch that a lot of people are missing, is that while that is how it has to work, systems, and especially computer tech, anything on the AI realm, is moving so fast that the system that you, or the tool, or the software that you bought 12 months ago did a particular task. In 12 months, that may not be relevant to your business, or there's a better tool out there. And so what do you do with that? Do you go and invest all of this time into trying to learn a particular tool, figure out how to make it work for your business, and then find out in 12 months' time that that little startup company that had a great idea got bought out by somebody else, the whole platform's changed, and now you've got to start again? This is one of the big headaches that we're having to face in the realms of AI, is how do you build something? And what we're trying to do, or what we are doing, is to build a base that is going to be able to couple and uncouple to external tools, so that as things progress outside in the AI space, as different features and systems become available, that we can bring them in, incorporate them. If they become less relevant, or they fall over, or we need to upgrade to a better tool, or there's a better solution, we can uncouple the old one, couple the new one in without losing the integration of the actual platform. So the system and platform and training stays relevant as the tools get upgraded on the back end. This is something that not many people are trying to do because it's a big task, and it's why we've been pretty quiet for a while here, because it's not just creating a tool. I can jump on Claude and tell it to write me captions for a video, but what I want is to have a system that understands me, my context, my brand colors, how I want the videos laid out, create a repeatable system, and then have it run on autopilot where I just need to drop the video in. It will do the edit, the cut, the captions. It'll run everything to my settings, and it will stay consistent to the business without having to reprogram it on a regular basis. And then if I then want it to post that to social media, I want to be able to just say, here's my video, edit it, add the captions, and post it to these accounts. And I could do that via text or voice, and it will simply do the work on the back end. Now, to create systems like that, you need a host of different tools to be able to do something. This is where I think a lot of people overestimate what a system can actually do, and underestimate how much effort it's going to take from them to get the system to a point where it's actually able to do intelligent work. So most AI systems are able to do complex single tasks. There's not much out there that is doing multifaceted tasks where you can give it a command like you would to a top level marketing expert on your team and say, here, take this video, make it look better, clean the sound up, post it out to the social medias, take the best performing one, turn it into an ad, set up the ad campaign, and then watch all the metrics, make improvements, and make it operate and produce better results. For every step of that process, you're going to have to tell it what to do, where to post things. You've got to go through and train it. You go to this menu, you're going to have to post it here. I need hooks and titles and this, that, and the other, and I needed it to this level of reading level. I need you to check it for spelling mistakes. I need, every little detail that you're going to need in that process has to be spelled out specifically, not just thrown at an AI model or agent and say, here, do this. So what's happening at the moment is people are building AI tools, which will have a certain amount of that work already baked into whatever the little tool is. But you have 40 little isolated tools to run your business. And so you have one that adds captions. And then you have another one that can tell you how to write the hooks and the text for your content. And then you have another one that can help you post. And then you have another one that can watch your metrics and data to give you some kind of analysis on the back end. But those tools primarily are not connected. Where systems, agentic systems, actually become powerful is when you integrate all of that into a central hub that has full context of you and your business. And so this is where we're putting our effort in. And we're not too far away from being able to launch Series 1, which I'm super excited about. Version 1 is going to be not just a tool, but an entire training system that goes with it, because there's no point handing somebody a complex tool and then saying, good luck, figure it out for yourself. We want people to succeed, which means being able to actually train people on how to get the most out of the platform. And because these are such integrated systems that we're building, it actually takes a lot of effort to integrate, because you're going to have all sorts of authentication keys to get into secure sections like Google Drive. You're going to need a whole Google Suite and authentication to be able to connect things. You can't just hack into it. Otherwise, anybody could hack into your system. So you've got to be able to go through and actually help people set these things up, which is where I see a lot of these AI tools falling over, because it's just, here, buy a tool, you don't interact with a person, it's very hard to ask questions, and you're left to try and set the thing up on your own. You may not be getting even 10% usability out of the tool because you don't know what it was designed to do or how to set it up. You're just trying to figure it out. That's where what we're trying to build, or what we are building, is very, very different. It is going to be more expensive because we're going to need actual humans, one-on-one, working with clients to actually integrate this so that we can get their businesses up and running. That whole process is how I see that you're able to get the best out of AI systems. Is you need to be able to get it to have the full context and understanding of you and your business, and then take that as its base layer to then go and do all these other operations that you need. So what we're able to do is to say to our little AI tool and our little app on our phone, throw it into voice mode while you're driving your car in between jobs, and you just say, I've just finished up the Smith job. It's as it was on the quote, only we did add an extra this, and this to it. That's all wrapped up now. The AI tool's going to come back and say, okay, I've got the quote there. I'll add these other items in. Was there anything else that you did on the job? Was there any extra labor you needed to charge for? Anything like that? You'll talk to the system like you would to an office manager. It will then go through, compile that, put together your invoice, and it can send it via email as a PDF attachment to your customer, or while you drive from point A to point B. And then you get to the next job and there's something a little bit unusual about it. And you're like, I know there's a rule about this particular issue. I wish I had my rule book available, or the building code or something, so I could reference it to see if this is right. So you can then take a photo, upload it to the system, ask it a question, say, that retaining wall, what are the rules and regulations on retaining wall heights in the building code? The system will go back, search all of that, come back with actual answers out of actual data and not fictitious made up answers. And that's the other thing that a lot of people are missing on the AI side, is a lot of the answers that come back are fictitious in the fact that they will sound good, and the models are designed to give you answers that make you want to stay engaged with the platform, and they'll give you answers that sound right, so that you're like, oh wow, you're so smart, that was so quick of you to come back with that answer. It never went off and found the building code of Australia and read all 800 pages of it. It just came up with an answer because from a bit of a search that sounded like a good average answer. Turns out it's completely wrong. So building a system that will only give you factual information is actually harder, because rather than relying on the large language models, ideas and whatever it comes up with, you have to then train it. Here is the only source of context that you can pull those answers from. So you then need to train that model on the back end on how to give accurate answers. This is all the work that, like what we're doing with the system we're building, we have to train that before we can give it to anybody. You can't just let it loose and hope it's going to figure it out, because they don't, not without training. So where I see the usefulness of AIs as tools is when you build them into systems like this. You give them context, you give them training, you give them the frameworks, and most importantly the fences of where they can't cross and what they can't do, so you keep your answers and your results contained to something that is actually useful, and you don't allow it to wander off into make-believe land, which is more complex and more difficult to do than you may think. Once you've got that, you actually have a useful tool that you can use to actually accelerate your business. That's the entire purpose of what we're building. So I wanted to run through this to give you a bit of an update on where AIs are up to, what we're up to, and what we've got coming, because I think this is going to be a massive game changer, because I'm a trade service business owner as well as building this AI platform. So I understand what trade service businesses actually need, and there's a huge disconnect between the tool itself and the guys and girls on the ground that are actually going to use it, because most of us don't have a massive tech background, and a lot of tradies find it difficult to use complex tools. Certainly most tradies don't want to be sitting down trying to learn how to write programming with Claude Code to do things. They just want something that works. They've got a spare half hour to look at something, make a decision, and then they've got to get back to work and dig another hole. And so we're doing the heavy lifting to put the system together so that it is that simple. Yes, you'll need a couple of days to actually take out to get one-on-one with us to get the system set up for your business, do all the integrations. Once that's done, you actually have a powerful system that you don't need to be tech anything for, and you'll have a dedicated human team in the background that the minute you have questions or need a hand with something, you can call and talk to somebody rather than just being left with the software. So hopefully we're only a couple of weeks away from launch. It's going to be really exciting when we get to that, but I am holding off until we've done all of our harsh testing on the system, and I've got my team trying to break it at the moment, because every time you push on it and you find something that's not working quite right, that's part of the fix, but we're almost there. Anyway, that's the update for now. If you've got questions, comments, leave them down below. Happy to answer them, and hopefully it'll be very, very soon. I'll be giving you an update to let you know that it's all live.